Hey, good morning, yes. Or afternoon, rather. I'm sorry.
Probably help if I have worked out the mute button by now, but hello, everybody. Lisbon and Becca, we're so happy to see you. Happy Monday to you. We are, just as we're waiting for a couple of more people to jump on, we just wanted to come on and say thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate your energy today, and we are just excited to be able to. Hey, listen. Uh, so we're just excited to be able to present to you today. We are joined by some of our very awesome partners that we work with on and off, probably more on. Uh, oh, wait. We're trying to go ahead and get the link squared away as we're getting to people. But while we're waiting, Lisbon and Lisbon and Becca, do you guys mind just coming off of mute, just telling us who you are, where you are, what you do? Nothing too bad, just really simple. So, I know Lisbon. So, Becca, it's a toss up of who goes first. So let's just go in alphabetical order. So, Becca, if you don't mind coming off of mute and just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Becca Setfin. I work with United Way of Greater Kingsport. So, Tennessee, we're over here in the northeastern section, really close to Virginia state line, North Carolina state line, not too far from Kentucky, really. And I'm on this call representing Volunteer United, our platform here. That's a shared platform within the Northeast Tennessee sector. So we have six other United Ways that are connected with our platform. And we also work with our local East Tennessee State University on the back end of the platform, connecting to
Oh,
volunteer opportunities. So we love our ETSU partners.
they are extremely awesome. And thank you so much for joining and being a part of it. Lisbon, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
I'm Lisbon. I am the volunteer and community engagement coordinator at United Way of West Tennessee, and we serve 15 counties.
Wow. It is so awesome to have the United Way support in the house today. So thank you guys so much. And Haley, are you there, Haley? Hey, Haley. Do you mind
Yes,
intro- Do you mind introducing yourself?
yes. So I'm Haley Markowitz. I am the community engagement coordinator for United Way of South Central Tennessee. So we have 7 counties under our umbrella, and yeah, we're just really excited to just be kicking everything off. Feels like fall as we've got some great campaigns going. So
I was just talking about how it's starting to feel a lot like fall outside. So I'm glad that
yes.
you're coming in and just with the side support. So, and you didn't even know it. So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Haley. I think we have John that has joined us and Emma. So if you guys don't mind just coming on, we're just saying who we are, where we are, what we do. And then we'll jump over to Emma and Caitlin. We'll do a quick introduction of the staff that's here. And then I'll let you guys know a little bit about Volunteer Tennessee, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the agenda of the day. So, very quickly, Emma and Caitlin, are you in a space to come off of mute and just quickly introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I
Hey,
am so sorry for my camera to be off. Normally, I am
that's
always
okay.
the one to have my camera on, but my camera has been messing up these last couple weeks. I'm not sure what it is. But hi, my name is Emma Graham. I am a volunteer manager with Persevere. We're a nonprofit that works with individuals who are justice involved or impacted, and we provide technology training with the hopes of helping people get into a career in technology. So that's a little about me.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, Emma. John, you're bursting at the seams to come off of mute. Introduce yourself, please.
Hey, John Schlepp.
Hey.
I'm the AmeriCorps director with Conservation Legacy. I'm here supporting Southeast Conservation Corps, and I can popcorn it over to Caitlin. She's with us.
Thank you. Caitlin?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Caitlin Scott. I'm the administrative specialist with Southeast Conservation Corps, and I do work with John with Conservation Legacy.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. If someone else pops in, I'll just have them to just briefly introduce themselves in the chat, but we'll go ahead and move on. But my name is Candace. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you, and I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you just now. But we would like to welcome you all. I am the Special Events and Training Manager here at Volunteer Tennessee, and I will be your guide through the chat. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'll be monitoring it. I'll be dropping off links to you guys just so you can know. We'll also get the links in the recording after you out to you after we're done today. But of course, you guys are all here. You're able to also find it in the Teams link as well. Before we get into the agenda of the day and just a brief introduction about Volunteer Tennessee, I'm gonna let you guys have seen Anthony and his email, so he's going to introduce himself, and then we are also joined by our executive director, Jim Snell. So I'll let them introduce. We'll go into the agenda, and then we'll go ahead and get started for the day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony. I'm the Systems and Process Manager for Volunteer Tennessee. Really appreciate you guys being here today. I'm responsible for overseeing the Tennessee Service Network and you all's contract. So if you have any questions regarding or any follow-up questions after today, please feel free to reach out to me. And then we also have Jim here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, hello everyone. Jim Snell, the Executive Director of Volunteer Tennessee. Thank you for joining us today.
All right. And while we're here, you guys, go back one second, Anthony. So I just want to mention is that we would love for you guys to just to scan the QR code. It'll take you to our Tennessee State Volunteer Portal. This is how we'll track the volunteer impact across the state. So I'll also put the link in the chat. So for you guys, we just want you guys to all be a part of the movement. Sign up, serve more, and let's track our impact so that we are obviously the number one state in the country for volunteerism. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so here's just a quick wrap up of our agenda. Of course, I'm Candace. We'll jump into the introduction of Tennessee Serves. I'll do just a very brief introduction of Volunteer Tennessee here in just a second. And then we'll go into our program spotlights, Galaxy Digital platform demo, and we have Galaxy Digital here joining us today. Anthony will go over application instructions. We'll open up for Q&A, but again, if you guys have any questions between now and then, just raise your hand from the little emote at the top. We'll go ahead and call on you so we can make sure we get to everybody. You're also very welcome to put your questions in the chat, and we'll be able to respond to you that way. We'll close out by just letting you guys know what's our call to action, what are the steps for our notice of funding, and then we'll go ahead and close out. All right. Pretty sure you guys are all familiar with Volunteer Tennessee, but our mission is to encourage volunteerism and community service. And our vision is to be the state national leader in promotion of volunteerism, community service initiatives, partnerships in which the citizens of all ages and backgrounds engage in services addressing our pillars, which are some education, public safety, environmental, and other human needs throughout the state and the nation. So we have a few initiatives that you'll learn a little bit about today, but we'll stay focused pretty much on the portal and the things that we have going on. But as you guys have heard, we have some AmeriCorps programs that we manage. Our National Generation Fund, our Volunteer Generation Fund, as you guys see here. For Volunteer Tennessee, we also have a conference and the Governor's Volunteer Stars Awards that are our marquee events that happen annually that also goes along with our Award of Excellence that we really love this program. It recognizes our schools K through 12 across the state for the awesome volunteer work that they're doing in the state, in their communities, local to their county, community, district, wherever they are. Of course, we'll learn a little bit more about the Tennessee Serves Network here today. We also have our Community Emergency Response Team, which is CERT, that specializes with more disaster services, and our Corporate Social Purpose Network, which focuses a little bit more on our corporate volunteer professionals. If you'd like to know more about these in a little bit more detail, Anthony has dropped a chat for Volunteer Tennessee. .net, which is our website. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat about Volunteer Tennessee, but I will go ahead and pass it over to Anthony to get into a little bit more of why you guys are here today. Anthony?
All right, thanks, Candace.
You're
So we
welcome.
want to talk a little bit about, is a portal sub-license right for your agency? Pretty much, we're looking for nonprofit organizations. We want to make sure you guys have the staff capacity to manage and manage the portal and your contract. We also want to make sure that you guys have a ability and willingness, excuse me, to connect with other local organizations in those counties that you guys serve. We also want to make sure you're able to comply with federal and state requirements. So there's a little bit of a grants management piece. Here are some examples of our current Tennessee Serve network service portals. We have some on the call. Really appreciate the awesome work you guys do for the state. United Way of Rowan County, Greater Chattanooga, Rutherford and Camden counties, Kingsport, Volunteer Memphis, Clarksville, Greater Nashville Regional Council, Volunteer East, United Way of Blount County. We also have our state parks, TDEC, and a lot in Anderson County as well. These are about 13 license holders we have currently. We're looking for more. Some of the investments and the benefits of the portal. Volunteer provides kind of the federal funding and also the fiscal and the programmatic support that you guys need at the local level. We also offer local and national training opportunities, organized service days, guidance and daily support, and involvement with our other national service programs. Our biggest one being AmeriCorps. From you guys, we ask that you guys invest in social media promotion, in-kind match, staff time, and building strong partners and relationships. That's all we ask for. There's no financial commitment here. That's kind of a quick run through of the sub license. I'm happy to stop here and answer any questions if we do have any. Don't see any in the chat. Otherwise, I'll pass it to our partners here, who's going to.
Anthony,
oh, sure.
I do have a question, and maybe you guys are going to get to it later on in the presentation, but maybe picking out one of the things that you just talked about. Are there service areas across Tennessee that you do not feel are adequately covered? And, kind of maybe that goes to your action items later on today.
Yeah, it's a really great question, Becca. I appreciate it. We will cover that here shortly, if you can say that question for us.
Okay.
Any other questions? That was a great question. All right, I want to pass it up to our partners here. We have hands-on Jan, and Volunteer Memphis, Candace. They'll kind of talk a little bit about their engagement with the portal and the benefits and kind of the payoffs and the impact that they've seen in their communities. We have Jan. Go ahead and pass it off to you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm going to talk a little bit generally about the benefits of having a volunteer management system, especially for a lot of you are United Ways, so you actually serve the nonprofits. So what are we seeing as the benefits of having a management system? One, like Excel can fail. Excel can fail really hard. I had a coworker who deleted one cell, and that one cell was an address cell. So everyone's addresses were shifted up and incorrect. Excel can fail so hard. So having a really good system is really insurance for your information. But it also helps you plan ahead. If you're working on a spreadsheet, you might not be thinking, hey, what's coming up next month that I'm going to need to be getting volunteers for? How am I going to do that? What action steps am I taking? Having a volunteer management system kind of allows you to go ahead and take those steps. You can look at what's already on your calendar. You can look at what you do have posted. Maybe you had these 3 things last month. Oh, actually this one I need to repeat again. This one isn't going to go until next year. It really helps you with the planning and also the organization, right? You want to know that Jamie is showing up to this shift and Chris is showing up to this shift, and that is very clear when they're coming, where they're going. And also, it's easier to distribute those volunteer opportunities from a system than from, say, a dozen different links on your website to different sign me up or sign up genius kinds of things. So there are just a lot of benefits to being able to have a volunteer management system if you are a nonprofit. It's just easier to organize your stuff and get it out to the people who need to see it. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the types of volunteer opportunities we really like to see our partners post. And one of them is really tying in the mission of your organization to that post, right? Why is this important? Not just you're going to come load food for 4 hours, right? What difference is that going to make? Who is this food going to? What area are you serving? Are you seeing a lot of seniors? Really getting people connected to your mission. You can do that through a volunteer opportunity. We should always kind of be selling the work that we're doing to our volunteers and to our community to get them really engaged in our work. And doing a good volunteer opportunity is a really great chance to do that. We also love it when there are fun and engaging volunteer opportunities. I used to have so I was a hands-on partner before I worked at Hands-On. So I had a holiday mailer stuffing party. So we had cocoa and we had candy canes and we had Christmas music going, and we got those 1,000 mailers stuffed and out the door because I had a staff of 3 and could not do it myself. So, but turning it from just like, okay, well, we're going to come in and like, I'll get paper cuts and our tongues are going to feel weird after licking all these envelopes, to it's a holiday mailer stuffing party. Like, we're getting into this. We're really helping people stay warm in their homes this Christmas season. Was really a good way to recruit. And so other things that are really important for organizations to include on their postings would be like, what do you wear? You know, do you need something with closed-toed shoes? Do you need to bring your own water bottle, or is water going to be available in bottled water form there? Do you need to bring your own sunscreen? So what are you going to provide as an organization, and what do people need to bring so that they're just ready to go? And we also like accessibility notes. I think our friends of Shelby Park Group is really great at putting these on there, noticing if there's like rough terrain. Or if it's a fully accessible path that somebody can be, so that people can understand, is this an opportunity that's going to be right for me? Am I going to be needing to lift things? Am I going to need to be sitting for a while? Because maybe I don't like sitting for a long time. So what are the little notes that you can give people to give them a good expectation that when they sign up, they're already mentally preparing to come and serve with your organization? And so the other great thing about having a volunteer management system is that there are just so many tools included, ways to see it in calendar format. Wow, that's something that Galaxy has added recently that we were really excited to see. Ways to learn more about your organization as they're going through, but also ways to communicate directly to your volunteers from the system. So you're not having to send out a dozen emails from your own email and, you know, download that Excel sheet and mail merge it, because it's already in the system ready for you to go. And it's also nice to be able to personalize some of those things. You know, not only do you want to communicate through the system tools, but you do kind of want to do that back end on each one and speak to them specifically. You know, hey Sam, I'm real glad that you signed up for this. We're excited to have you on Tuesday. Here's where you're going to park. Watch out for this issue that's happening. Ring the doorbell and someone will be up to get you. So really like getting them nicely set up in addition to the things that they get through the system. So one thing that we've been really happy to see, so we are on the Hands-On Connect platform. And we have been seeing more and more and more. We really looked hard at Galaxy Digital. And we are on a Salesforce platform that works really well for us, managing our data. So we were so happy when Galaxy bought Hands On Connect, and really has been investing in that system and how our opportunities can eventually, hopefully, integrate with the Galaxy platform here at Tennessee Serves, because we think it's a really great way, especially in these rural counties where they don't have a big United Way or a big volunteer center with a lot of staff, to be able to get the word out. And again, to share it far and wide and help people find the thing that is near to them, that speaks to their heart, that they can engage with easily, quickly. They get the information they need. You get the information that you need. I don't know. That's the sell for me. So thanks for having me today.
Thanks so much, Jan. A lot of great tips there. And I love the holiday Christmas party idea. That was really phenomenal. Really like that. Next up, we have Volunteer Memphis with Candace Tate.
All right, good afternoon. I am the other Candace on the call. I am based out of Memphis and I work under the Leadership Memphis umbrella. There are a lot of similar ways that we use the portal, the Galaxy portal, as well as Hands On uses it. We work with nonprofits across Shelby County and they're able to post their listings on the website. So not only do we have a network of the volunteers that sign up through our Leadership Memphis programs, we also have ones that are signing up just for volunteer opportunities, and that could be corporate organizations, that can be other nonprofits, they could be organizations in the community, sororities, fraternities that want to come in and do their service. And it's easy to manage on the system. It's later on in my presentation, but if they want to create teams to track their volunteer hours throughout the year, they're able to do that as well. They set up their user group or their team, and each person can go in and log their hours. So how do we utilize the Galaxy system here at Volunteer Memphis? One, it's a great way for us to research opportunities for large groups to tap into. We often get calls from different corporations or different groups that say, hey, we've got about 5, 10, 15 people that want to go out. Do you have an organization that can hold us? And it's easy for me to go in, see the different organizations that have held large groups before, and to reach out them to directly to help curate a volunteer opportunity. We also offer opportunities for volunteers that have court-appointed service. Some of them don't really understand what they need to do or how it needs to operate when they have that type of service that's mandated for them. And I tell them all the time, it's really easy. You go to the website, you check out the opportunities we have, find what, they might not have a mission of what drives them to want to volunteer, but find what fits your schedule. As long as the opportunity doesn't violate your order, your mandate, your charges or whatever you received, you're welcome to volunteer for it. So I love that we get to offer that in the area. It also offers a lot of reporting tools that can help nonprofit organizations with their impact reports. And that could be nonprofit or corporate. Some corporate organizations want to know what their impact in the community was, and they can show that not only by their volunteer hours, but that dollar amount that's attached to how many hours they've given back to the community. And they can easily do that through the system, or they can also reach out to us and we're happy to pull that report for them as well. It also helps for individuals. We have a lot of high school students that reach out that need certain hours, and it's easy to track all of those hours through the system. So it's easy for us, if they need a certified letter or something, it's easy for us to find them, pull their hours, and send that information off to them. I also like the fact that the Galaxy portal has an app that users can use. So that makes it easy for on the go checking in, on the go logging hours, or just to see where they are. If you're like me, I get lost easily. I've lived in Memphis all my life, but I can get lost. So it helps to have that address, everything right there for me when I've signed up for an opportunity. Other benefits to the system, I love being able to send email blast out, whether that's to our volunteer groups or that's to our agency managers. One of the things I've started doing is to send a monthly email out to all of our volunteers that are in our database. I think it's over 40,000 emails that are in there, but of course, some of those bounce back for users that have the email in there long or dropped off. But being able to send them out a list of opportunities of things that are coming up and to watch those numbers increase really rapidly on those volunteer opportunities to help them to fill up their slots a whole lot quicker. I also like it to be able to share information with agency managers, whether it's how to use Galaxy, how if there's a new update, how they can take advantage of it, or just sharing information, especially with the changes that with the administrations are having across the country, how they can best utilize volunteers when they've had to have reductions in staff. So I love it for that as well. It also allows opportunity to connect with nonprofits, again, offering ideas, trainings, like Jan said about the stuffing party. Family Volunteer Day is coming up in November. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule some emails, and that will not, I can't schedule them. I think Jim's on the call. I want to be able to schedule emails, Jim, okay? But everybody, I can go ahead and plan out my trainings and my emails to send out to go ahead and have them think about ideas that they can start doing for Family Volunteer Day to increase that engagement. Galaxy also offers a lot of trainings, and they have a great support team. If I don't know the answer, Anthony knows when I first started, I always email. I was like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And the team was very helpful in getting information back. And the Galaxy trainings that are already pre-recorded or the ones that they have on a regular basis are also very helpful. Again, service and engagement. We're able to track hours. We can monitor teams, groups. All of the agency information is there. It'll show you when something's missing from their profile. If we want to go through and pull who hasn't used the portal in a while, I can go through and pull that information, reach out to them, see if they need support, see if a new person needs to be added. That happens, right? Staff changes all the time. So I want to be able to continuously communicate with the partners we have in our system to make sure that we have a strong relationship. And again, you can set up teams for one-off events or ongoing service to continue to track our hours. The system is very robust, and I learn stuff all the time. Every time I have dedicated time on my calendar to go in and look and see what I can do that's going to elevate the experience of our volunteers or for our agency managers. So that's how we use it, and I love taking advantage of the system. So thank you for this time to speak.
That was amazing, Other Candace. Awesome. Thank you so much. Before I give it back off to Anthony to introduce Galaxy Digital, I just want to make sure that there are no questions for Jan and for Candace as our partners that are working in the field with that hands-on. Pun intended, Jan, pun intended. But do we have any questions from the group for Jan or for Candace? Okay, well, if you guys don't mind, then we will share their email address here at the end with everybody else's in case you guys want to email them any additional questions. But it doesn't look like any hands are raised or anything is in the chat, Anthony, from our group.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys again. Really great information, great insight. Really appreciate you guys being here. Next, we have Galaxy Digital. Hey, Kate.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. My name is AK, and I am here on behalf of Galaxy Digital. I'm also joined by Elizabeth Donovan, also on our team. I really appreciate, we can talk all the time about a software solution, but hearing from real organizations actively using this, I think is so valuable and such a great resource. So if you're in the chat and have questions, don't hesitate there. I mean, that's such a good way to kind of figure out things and learn. And we're always learning from everybody using the platform. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your tips and those stories there. I'll definitely try to highlight some of that as we kind of go through. But Galaxy Digital in general is a volunteer management software tool. It's actually originated out of Asheville, North Carolina. But I am actually from Nashville. So I've always felt very enthusiastic around my experience with Tennessee Serves and kind of growing up in Tennessee, just kind of being aware of the mission of Volunteer Tennessee and what it means to be a part of that as a Tennessean. So it's really fun to kind of see that come to life through something like Tennessee Serves. And what they've got kind of set up on their platform here is a really incredible opportunity to kind of be a part of something bigger. that the work that you do in your community, this is a way to kind of spotlight it, get more exposure, get kind of that additional value out, but also just kind of getting connected to that bigger picture. Like they are able to, like kind of having this software, you know, they're able to kind of highlight the things that you do, but also help push forward Tennessee Serves as a motion, as a state. So just knowing that like those little things you're doing in your community, within your nonprofit relationships, are actually making it all the way back to help power the future of volunteering in Tennessee. So I think that's really cool how things are set out there. But that's just a little bit about how Tennessee Serves is kind of set up with Galaxy Digital. The next slide, we actually have just some values like what we mentioned, just kind of showing up about how to be more visible. And then this big piece of collaboration that I've mentioned in your experiences, like Volunteer Memphis and hands-on, you know, just being able to reach out to others that are being a part of this, as well as kind of the resources within Tennessee Serves, and then that insight to reporting. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen quick. Try not to be too crazy long-winded. Can everybody see the Volunteer Tennessee.gov site? Yes. Okay, great. I wanted to start here. This is a familiar site, maybe to most of you. If you haven't checked it out, this is definitely something to do. But there's actually a way to get to the portal from this site. I think I like to point this out because as we're kind of going through a volunteer's experience, part of that is building trust. So people might find these opportunities because they have a relationship or a knowledge of Volunteer Tennessee and Tennessee Serves. So kind of coming through this portal is an entry point here. And just wanted to highlight that. I mean, it's a great way to kind of pull this together, having those links to those counties served there, but also a direct link into the portal for volunteers. So if you actually go right into that site, this is your main site for Tennessee Serves. So this is a logged out view that a volunteer would see. This main dashboard has, so you see that visual kind of crossover with those social call outs. And then a big button in the center, volunteer now. We'll kind of click that next, but as you kind of scroll through, there's also an opportunity to spotlight. Like, you know, we've got Volunteer United on the call. They are able to kind of highlight some ongoing Helene recovery here. The great opportunity for visuals and some highlighted needs. This is just your very top level view of maybe how somebody might kind of start to interact with this site. So if you did go ahead and click Volunteer Now, then you're going to be taken to a dashboard of needs. So the main, this is the default setting. We'll kind of spoiled it a little bit. There's a bunch of different ways to kind of see needs listed here from the volunteer perspective. But as you can see, this is everything filtering up to the Tennessee Serve site. So this is giving me as much as I need. A good way to kind of get a lot of exposure if you don't really know where to come in at. So you can see this by list here. You could scroll through several pages, but there's also a bunch of other options to kind of view this. And one of our favorites is this map view. I know hands-on mentioned you guys like the calendar view. That's good for the administrative side for sure. And I love that, like in Volunteer Memphis, you guys are talking about, you know, even if you don't feel passion, like what does it work for your schedule? I think that's a really realistic expectation when it comes to volunteering too. So being able to kind of search those different ways kind of caters to a lot of different needs there. So those are some options they have. But in the map view, I like this for the purpose of today's conversation. Kind of can see that visual impact of opportunities that are spread throughout the state. So I kind of mentioned, you know, where we see those coverage areas is just a good visual for that. This isn't everything listed, but it is kind of giving you a good start. So you know, if I was around and I live off of 75 and I'm over here trying to figure out something to do, you can kind of search around. You can search like by your zip code and different things within the filters. But just for this example, we're going to kind of cruise over here, and we've got you can highlight over an opportunity, and then we're going to click into it to kind of learn some more. Whenever you go, since we're on the Tennessee Serve site here, this will be a pop-up that the volunteer would get to say like, okay, do you want to head over to this next piece? Because this is where these site connections come into play. So by being a portal listed on here. Now this volunteer is going to actually travel to that site internally within the system. Same system, but they're just moving over into your neck of the woods. So as you can see, this brand kind of changed. Now we've got the United Way of Greater Knoxville here because we've selected an opportunity within that network. So we've dove in all the way into a mobile pantry distribution opportunity supported by Second Harvest. So this is a nonprofit partner. That's a relationship there. They've worked with Greater Knoxville to post this opportunity on the back end. So as a volunteer, what you now see is just like, wow, this is a great opportunity for me based on where I am or what I'm looking for. But that's just some things that go into it behind the scenes. As a volunteer, you can scroll through, we mentioned just the things that you might want to include on here. They can kind of see all this really quick. You can see what it is. What are those hooks? What does this actually mean? Like actually putting some of the duties goes a long way. It goes a long way for engagement. You can see a lot of good responses whenever people know what to expect. And then also, their locations or times or details, wearing those closed-toed shoes, as well as the map, and then opportunities to respond. So at this point, you can still see all this logged out. But as soon as you go to respond, it'll actually prompt your volunteer to either sign up or log in. So if you do go ahead and sign up, it will take you to our main sign up page for your volunteer to create an account. This information is always good to think about as you're kind of going through your own data story, thinking about making sure that the things that are being asked for your signups are things that are going to be a part of that story for you. Do you want to know where they're coming from? I think it's a big one too, is contact me in an event of disaster. Just having that toggled on for Tennessee SERS allows people to be notified in the future that, if there is a big call for a need, then they're automatically on that list. And it's a great way to kind of help improve that list over time, but also making sure people know how to do it. I think just having that as an option is always a good idea. So if you do have additional things or different kind of things that you're looking for, this can be added on, and also just communicating that with Tennessee SERS, be like, hey, this is really important to us. Maybe it's something we should look out for the state. It can go a long way. So just being able to know what that means. And then we'll kind of do one more view here. So this is a view of your volunteer. So mentioned kind of those trying to keep track of all those things. Like the whole point of all this software is to really make everything more accessible and more organized and streamlined so that you have the capacity to do other things. That's true for your volunteers too. They want to find a way to get involved, but maybe not too much. They're just doing this because they need to, or because they've been called to it. So how can this be easy for them and fun? I think that this is a fun way to see it from a dashboard view. You can see progress made here. This is, again, where as your volunteer is logged in, this is their own version of a dashboard. They can see their actual impact value, and this volunteer resume is a full downloaded thing that they can download as a PDF, use it for requirements on their own. Again, this is all part of this platform, is that now your volunteer has access to these things. Another big piece too is you can also share different needs onto social media. So it's another way for your volunteers to be a part of that effort to help grow your mission and your story just by their own experiences. So kind of putting a lot of that into the hands of your volunteers. They kind of can choose their own adventure, but highlighted based on where they are and the things that they're interested in. So we said, you can fan a cool feature here. One of my favorites is you can just say like, oh, I love, animal shelters. So I want to kind of keep an eye on them. You can say that you're a fan of them, and then you'll be notified of opportunities that start coming up at the animal shelter. So just things like that, to kind of personalize this experience. Then on the back end, it helps you to have more information around like what people are interested in and how to fill those needs and kind of get them to this spot like this. Interns needed for this spring. Like that's a spotlight opportunity you can use within your organization to highlight something that's going on that you're trying to recruit for. So that's a really high level cruise by of some of the platform and the function from that volunteer perspective. as a portal holder. Of course, there's a cool other additional view we didn't even get into today, but there is more to see there. You can kind of filter through those volunteers. You can help manage those individual nonprofit posts that you're seeing, just kind of all the back end of how all that plugs in. But this is a good opportunity to kind of see it from the big picture, what your volunteers are experiencing by being a part of something like Tennessee Serves. The final thing I'll show here, oh, can't go to my last tab. My thing's in the way. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to show was just the Galaxy Digital homepage. It's a good resource. We've got our blog on here as well as free webinars you can sign up for. But if you do have any more questions, we're going to actually ask if you have any like specific software questions for your portal solutions. I'm going to head to Anthony first. They can kind of help set you up and point you in the right direction. But this will give you a good overview and also just some of those great resources to be a part of and continue to learn more. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. We'll definitely link that so you can kind of explore it. But I see those are the next steps within Galaxy. Is reaching out, kind of hearing more about your options with the portal, but also that site is another resource for you too. I'm gonna pause for a minute. It was a big lay. I know Elizabeth, you've joined me. Is there anything else that you want to make sure to kind of share or plug in within the Galaxy space?
I was just going to add, I think for those of you who are going to be working with Anthony to think about a community you could serve in, there are two pieces that AK hit so well just to kind of ground us. Is one, we really focus a lot on the volunteer. You never know what is that moment in their life that's going to make them start to search. So we've got to have as many hooks as possible, and every single page she showed is a unique URL. So in your role, you're thinking, how do I get that volunteer quickly to find that cause, that nonprofit, that thing that piqued their interest? How do I get them quickly right to where they start? All the different options and views she talked about are really smart ways to funnel. And I think that's the other side I would just pull out again. Part of what Anthony, I think, will be talking about is it's not just technology, it's the capacity of your team. And I think you heard from Jan and from Candace, it's the thinking. There's that part of just saying, all right, now that I've got it organized and my flows are all here and I can know that the system's going to take this part through, how do I strategically look at my calendar? How do I strategically look at what I have coming up in the spring so that I can really build programs around it, momentum around it, make it more fun so they have that extra time to take something that needs to be done to make it an event. I think all of that is so critical, and getting that time back is really important. But also, I think Candace, you said you put it on your calendar so that you actually spend that hour thinking, what am I doing next quarter? What am I going to recruit for? I think that power of the human and the technology together is what makes this so powerful. So I just wanted to call those 2 points out. But yeah, AK, that was a great overview. Any questions, feel free to drop them in there and we can get more answers for Anthony to pass back your way, or just answer right now in the chat. Happy to do that.
And also, Elizabeth dropped a link in the chat for you guys if you'd like to check out the additional resources and the free webinars that you can join. So we have that there for you as well. Do we have any additional questions for AK or Elizabeth or about Galaxy Digital in general before we get to just the application instructions and what your call to action is from this point? Any questions from anybody? Oh, the other Candace. Yes, ma'am. You're muted still, babe. That's okay.
Sorry, I thought I hit it. Didn't really have a question. I had a comment. I know I was saying I learn stuff all the time. I did not realize that was a map feature. So now I'm over here like, oh my goodness. Now how can I use this to help my providers, to help the agency, to help my report? So thank you for that. I'm glad I stayed on the call.
Yes, community. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for that live and in-person example that we didn't even pay her for that one, you guys. So thank you so much, Candace. We appreciate that. That was probably a terrible joke. But if we don't have any more questions, then Anthony, you want to get started with the application instructions?
Alrighty, thanks again, Galaxy Digital. Really appreciate you guys being here and sharing that information. We're going to talk a little bit about the notice of opportunity, the application itself, and all those requirements. Candace will be dropping down these links for the application here shortly, but you would apply through our SurveyMonkey and kind of take it from there. As far as important dates, the notice of opportunity was released last week. Today we had a webinar, and the applications will be due on September 5th at 3 p.m. We'll go ahead and review that, go through our contract development process, and if you are accepted, you will be awarded with acceptance around September 22nd through the 24th. There will be a quicker turnaround for contracts to be signed. These are no-cost contracts, so if you are awarded, the process is pretty straightforward. And then your contract will have a start date of October 15th through through October 14th of 2028. Sorry. We'll also be sharing this via email and following up with the recording as well. As far as the application itself, there are a few parts: basic contact information, the coverage area you're looking at, branding, marketing, social media marketing, in-kind match feasibility, current volunteer platform, nonprofit access, and some acknowledgements. And again, the application link is online on our website and it's also in the chat. Becca asked about purpose and kind of priority areas. For us, we want to make sure that we have volunteer service plans and recruiting for volunteers across the state. As we develop projects, we want to make sure that we're touching each area of the state. Right now, our priority counties are DeKalb, Hancock, Hickman, Maury, Meigs, and Obion. The rest are potentially covered through our current centers, or a lot of our current centers have expanded since over the last few years. So those coverage areas have been updated as well, but those are our priority areas for right now. As far as the project period and the project award amounts, the sub-licenses themselves are valued at about $4,000 annually. We do have certain requirements around branding, staff capacity, and the in-kind match and the social media promotion. We'll talk a little bit about that here. Again, the grants will be awarded through October 14th, 2028, a 3-year cycle. Deep diving into each one of those application elements, the contact information, you want to make sure that you're using your agency name and also have a program contact. This person will receive information for the contract itself, any type of follow-up communication for surveys. There's an annual survey involved, any type of communication for the in-kind match reporting and the social media reporting. We want to make sure that's up to date as well. So if any of those do change, please let us know. We want to make sure that you guys are at least covering at least one of our priority areas. So if organizational capacity does allow, we would consider covering more counties. In addition, the agencies that receive a sub-portal license will be asked to adhere to branding and marketing requirements that will be outlined in your agreement with us. Again, there's a social media marketing. We're curious to know what type of social platforms you're using, how often, what type of media goes out from there. There's also an in-kind match. This is not a requirement. Please just answer to the ability and the willingness of your agency to provide these two items. In the application itself, we're curious to know if you are using any current volunteer portal. How have you been using it? If you don't have one, no worries, just make mention of that. We also want to make sure that you have nonprofit access to help post outside opportunities and also to receive approval from VT. You will be required to select all boxes for your submission, so you want to make sure that you're agreeing to everything outlined in your no-cost agreement. The marketing progress report is a quarterly report that's sent out 4 times a year, and then there's an in-kind match that will be sent out 1 time a year, usually in January. These are required as part of the contract. So we'll wrap up with some next steps. I know we have some current sub license holders. If that is you, you want to make sure you've completed the annual survey I sent out a few weeks ago. There's also another survey confirming that you wish to continue your license. Once you've done those 2 things, you want to sit back tight and wait for some follow-up confirmation from me. If you're a prospective license holder, step 1, you attended the webinar for today. 2, you want to check out the notice of opportunity on the website. If you do have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to me. And just a reminder that those applications will be due on September 5th at 3 p.m. Lastly, I want to say thank you for all the work you guys do out in the communities. We really appreciate you guys' support. Thanks, AK, the Galaxy Digital team, Elizabeth, for providing such a great system and solution for our partners here for the state. So we'll open it up for questions. Feel free to come off mute or drop them in the chat. And again, we also value feedback. So if you have any feedback, feel free to take the survey and provide feedback for future webinars. And if you haven't already, go ahead and sign up for the Tennessee Serves Network. We want to make sure that we have every Tennessean on the portal and that we're tracking that impact. Candace just dropped the survey link if you guys don't mind taking it. Should only take about 60 seconds.
That's a generous survey, boy, I tell you. But I wanted to just pop on just to see if there were any questions in general. Did you guys have any additional questions specifically about the application? I know that questions will likely pop up as you guys are completing it, maybe, or maybe not, but I did want to open the floor for anything in general that we didn't cover that you guys would like to touch on very, very briefly. It can be anything from Volunteer Tennessee to our partner experiences to the Galaxy Digital platform, or maybe we didn't mention it today. But did you guys have any additional questions that you guys like to touch on? Becca, go ahead.
A question, and maybe it would be applicable to some of the others on the call, depending on service area. But Anthony, as you were going over kind of your areas of high need, is it an assumption that maybe if one of us on the call is operating in a service area that's close to one of those underserved high priority areas, that those, would definitely be among the things that your team is looking for in this application process? And then my second question is, I'm just wondering, tactfully, I feel personally, in regards to the one county that stands out to me, that I would need to reach out to at least one other United Way. And are you comfortable kind of sharing who a specific rep is, so I can make sure that I'm not, stepping on toes or anything like that? And you're on mute, Anthony.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry, guys, that's a great question. Jim, did you have any input for that?
Yeah, so I mean, we can provide local partners who might already be active if that would be helpful. In terms of the priority, we're looking to try and get folks or new license holders into counties that aren't currently being served. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of priority. And also, there's some the list of counties that are on the list of economically distressed or economically at risk. I think there's maybe some crossover there. So yeah, that answer your question, Becca?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, just trying to figure out if there's a good action to maybe have us take in this area. So,
Yeah.
Hancock, for example, was the county I was kind of looking
Right.
at, recognizing they're kind of on the cusp of both us and
Mhm.
Knoxville, I guess, kind of serves them, but they don't have like their own, United Way that has a foothold in that
Yeah. Yeah.
county, I don't believe.
Yeah, well, so in that case where there's not, so as you know, a lot of our partners are United Ways that have kind of specific service areas for their United Way, and that so it makes sense for them to serve those specific counties. But for counties that don't have that kind of United Way foothold, we're happy to have discussions with folks about, if they're interested in trying to pick up a county. We're totally open to having those conversations. I don't think anybody else, Anthony can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think anybody else has expressed interest yet in potentially trying to pick up Hancock. But if they did, we could certainly just kind of get people together and have a conversation about what makes the most sense.
Sounds great. Thank you.
And I apologize, everybody. I've got to actually hop off and go to another call. So thanks, everybody, for being here, especially our partners for talking about their experience with platforms, and also to our partners at Galaxy Digital for being here as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Echoed and ditto. So if no one else has any additional questions, then just be looking for a quick follow-up email from us at Volunteer Tennessee. And if you guys have any additional questions, then please feel free to reach out. Anthony, did you have any closing words, or we're going to wrap up on time today?
No, other than thanks again. I appreciate everyone. We will send out the PowerPoint. Thanks, Elizabeth. We will send that out. The recording will also be on the website. If you want to share it with potential partners or anyone else that you may think of. But we really appreciate you guys being here. Thanks, Candace, as well, for your help with this, and to our partners as well. I'll stick around for some questions, though, if you guys want to jump off. But thanks again for joining us.
It was amazing to meet all of you that I haven't met. I look forward to connecting with everyone, whether on this platform or in another area. So thank you, guys. Bye, Haley. See you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a great upcoming holiday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You guys too. And Anthony, if it's not too much trouble, do you have Knoxville's contact? You could just stick that in the chat for me. I'll just follow up with them.
Oh, and Candace, I had a question for you and Anthony, not pertaining to this, but more on the governor's
Volunteer Stars Award.
If you had a quick question, if you had a quick second.
Yeah.
So I sent you an email, but I know you have probably a million emails going on, but we just wanted to double check. Because again, we were a United Way of Rutherford and Cannon. But about a year and a half ago, we changed to United Way of South Central Tennessee. So we now serve 7 counties versus just those 2. So it's a name update. But also I noticed you had compiled the great list of everyone who was going to be a committee. Oh my gosh, the name's just escaping. Yes,
the county coordinator.
The coordinator. Yeah. Yes, and we weren't on the list for Rutherford or Cannon or any of the other counties that we serve. So I just wanted to make sure that you got us for at least Rutherford and Cannon, and then the other 6 or 7 counties that we serve.
So I have to check, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me circle back with my intern, because he's the holder of the Excel spreadsheet. Yes. Could you do me a favor, though, Haley? I'm going to look. In that email, do you have outlined all the counties that you guys touch? Okay.
I do. And
I apologize.
Oh my God, no, do not apologize. It might have been the email chain. I'll forward it now. I think, is it Patrick that was is on there?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just forward it right now while I've got you. And
okay. I have it. I
So you've
see
got
it.
it
And I
at
see,
at the top of
serving
the list.
Bedford, Cannon, Coffee, Lincoln, Moore, Rutherford, and Warren.
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
we don't, there are a couple counties, I believe, like Warren, wait, let me see, like Coffee or Moore and Lincoln that you already have someone for that area as a coordinator. So what we can do is just, yeah, if you're good with it, I can reach out to Coffee, Moore, and Lincoln, because it looks like we would double up. So we can reach out and just support them. We don't want to like, but it's
Jump all
something
over.
that technically